Hi everyone, I want to welcome you to this week's episode of the Lesson in 5. Lesson in 5 is a weekly program where we summarize the Sabbath School Lesson into 5 main points. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. The Sabbath School Lesson for this week is the Sabbath, living and experiencing the character of God. God intended that the Sabbath should be a joy and a delight. This week, we're going to speak about exactly what the Sabbath means, and we want to learn about how we can call the Sabbath a delight. Time to be astonished. Imagine you're Adam or Eve, and you're in the garden. You get to see God's created world for the very first time. Adam and Eve were created Sabbath afternoon, and they had time to explore God's created world on Sabbath. Imagine you look around, you see a giraffe, you see a whale, you see an ant, you see a frog, an elephant. It was a time of wonder and astonishment. God designed that the Sabbath be just that, a time of wonder and astonishment, a time where we marvel at the grandness and grandeur of God. The Sabbath is a time for us to be astonished. Time for rediscovery. God gave the Israelites in the wilderness manna fresh from heaven every single day. That is, except on Friday, because on Friday they picked double. On Sabbath, no manna would fall. Why? Because God wanted the Sabbath to be a time that the Israelites spend with Him without distraction, a time where they spend quality time with God. The Sabbath is a time for us to rediscover who God is and what He means to us. The Sabbath is a time of rediscovery. Time for learning priorities. God calls us to call the Sabbath a joy and a delight. However, God does not expect that our worship should be a dry formalism. In fact, in the book of Isaiah, he says your fasting is meaningless if it's not coming from the heart. Jesus expects that our Sabbath worship should be a time when we learn to prioritize Him and put Him first. The Sabbath should be more than just a list of do's and don'ts. Rather, we need to learn to call the Sabbath a delight and delight in the Lord. Time for finding balance. Jesus had constant run-ins with the synagogue leaders, the scribes, and the Pharisees concerning the Sabbath. Jesus wanted to redefine what the Sabbath meant. The Sabbath for them had become a list of regulations, but Jesus wanted them to experience the Sabbath as a day of hope and healing. That is why Jesus constantly spread healing around on the Sabbath. He made sure that He would heal the sick on a Sabbath. On the Sabbath, we need to learn that it's not just about regulations, but the Sabbath is a day of hope and healing. A time for community. The Sabbath isn't just something that we celebrate in isolation. Rather, on the Sabbath, it's a time for the community of faith to come together and learn to worship God. God designed that we all worship Him in His beauty together. That is why Jesus would frequent the synagogue on a Sabbath. His apostles did exactly the same thing. Paul would often meet with like-minded believers on a Sabbath. The Sabbath is a time for us to come together as a community and celebrate who God is and what He's doing in our lives. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the lesson in 5. If you've enjoyed the lesson in 5, hope you share, like, and subscribe. Also put in a comment. Those comments really help to keep me going. Also help YouTube to know that this is a good video worth talking about. Until next week, God bless you all.